You're listening to the Roosters Mania TV podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to RMTV episode 2. How was your weekend, guys?
It's pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
We had our RMTV dinner.
We did. It was a
With the four
lovely
of
night.
us.
Lovely night. It was a very good dinner.
We started the party at about 2, so it was a pretty full-on day for us.
I showed up late, so apologies. But, you know, I think I like to I brought some class to it. I brought the wife in. She came in, joined us to karaoke.
She crashed the party.
Karaoke. Sorry, babe, I didn't say that. He did. No, it was a good weekend, wasn't it? It was good.
It was really good. And anyone that's watching, Theo, he's got an amazing voice. We all learnt that karaoke.
Honestly, it was incredible.
What would you rate my singing?
Honestly, I was going to give you a 5 out of 10 until you sung Barbie Girl, and then I'm just going to give you a 15. Honestly, I've heard a lot of renditions of Barbie Girl in my life, and that could have been one of the greatest. All right, well, we'll leave Saturday there. What about Sunday? Obviously, the Chooks versus Newcastle. It's a trial match. Am I going to book grand final tickets? Not sure, but...
Like you just hit on the head right there, trial game. That's what it was. Nothing more, not 2 points on the line. Yep. And I think there was a bit of a bad reaction from our fans out of it. But look, you got to...
Say an overreaction a bit? Or?
Yeah, I think it was a big overreaction. I understand that we have lost a fair few players, which is understandable. But I just... don't believe for a second if you think that's going to be the Roosters every single week, you're kidding yourselves. I think Trent will get them up and running. Not every game is going to be smooth sailing, so I'm not saying that we're perfect, but like I said, it was just a one-off. It's a trial, and we have a week to prepare for the Broncos before we get ready for round 1. So, look, 48-10, I understand the scoreline was a bit, too much. We did hot day. Yeah. Look, we leaked a lot of points, but look, at the end of the day, I wouldn't look too much into the trial form. Just that's it.
And look, I know we spoke about this before we came on air, guys, but the Knights looked like they were running at 110%. They looked like they wanted to prove a point, which I think is awesome. There's been a lot of pressure on Adam O'Brien over the last couple of years, so I think he needs a good start to the year because whenever anyone talks about coaches that are on the line, his name comes up a lot because Newcastle probably haven't performed as well as that a lot of people would like them to. So I think they came out to prove a point. We probably didn't. We probably took it as a trial game, as a training run, working on some combinations, our edges, getting used to each other and things like that. So at the end of the day, I think you hit the nail on the head, Theo. It's a trial game and we're not going to roll that out every single week. There's no way.
As you were saying before, like the combinations are Chad Townsend and Toya and Dom Young on the right side. Like,
even Radley with them as well.
Yeah, Radley. So like they haven't played together before. The 4 of them, or 3 of them.
Yeah.
So we're getting to know the play. So just got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, 100%. And look at it this way. I feel like every year as a Chooks fan, we're slow starters. We like to build into the year. You have teams that are they want to start quick and strong, and then they just drop off right at the end of the year. I think 2018, we signed Teddy, we signed Cronk, and I think round 1 we lost to the Tigers.
We did lose to the Tigers. I remember that game.
Everyone wrote us off. They're like, you lost to the Tigers, you're done.
Corey Thompson with a great try-saving tackle on Daniel Tip. I remember that.
Yeah, that's right. I know people were going, where's PSC now? And then we ended up going back to back. But
by the way, I saw those comments, and that was disgusting from our fans as well. How they just badmouthed the club like that, And we had a couple of signings, but you know what? Look what happened. We went on to win the comp. So, just pull the brakes, guys. And, let's see where our season takes us.
But also, thinking about yesterday, because you boys know me, I'm an optimist, right? I done it last week against the Dragons. I found out anything good I could. And I'm going to say, out of yesterday, there was a couple of signs that I'm encouraged by. I'm not going to say they're good because, the scoreline showed that it wasn't good. But encouragements for me, possession, 50-50. Knights probably took advantage of their possession more than we did. We were probably more focused on trying to get repeat sets, things like that, whereas the Knights were going over and scoring a couple of soft tries in there. Completion-wise, we're at 76%, which 2 weeks in a row we're above 75%. Last week I think we're about 82.
Something, yeah.
So, I'm going to take that as a win. The Knights, to their credit, were at 85%. But, boys, you made a big deal out of this last week, and we're going to make a big deal out of it this week. Penalties conceded. Here we go. How much? We conceded 5 penalties. How many did the Knights concede?
I'm going to say
Wasn't it
8.
8? Yeah.
7.
7.
We won a penalty count 2 weeks
First
in a
time
row.
ever.
Wow.
Achievement.
2 weeks in a row.
I think Uncle Nick, that brown paper bag, must have,
Oh,
he still, maybe.
But yeah, look, there was obviously some bad signs out of it. 6 agains, we actually won the 6 again count. We only gave away 3. Newcastle gave away 7. So very good, but we did make 2 more errors than them.
Do you think we're probably trying to work on our discipline so we play a bit differently this
I
year?
think there
A different
is.
approach?
Yeah, Robbo was talking a lot about the Rooster style of football. I was listening. I was driving around back from Bondi actually and I was listening to the game. I was listening to the interview with Robbo, and he basically said, this is week 1 of finding out who our identity is as a club. There's been a big lot made over us for the last few weeks or the last few years even, of Roosters football. What's the identity of Roosters football? We have to find out what that is, and the boys will find that out. That's their job, and believe they'll do it and get going.
All right, well, let's touch on Spencer now. Obviously, he's been given 2 weeks. Could be 3 if he
Challenges.
challenges the fight. What do you think of the shot? We've watched it back. What do you think?
Look, I understand that he had to go to the bin. That's the crackdown the NRL's had, and it's coming across rugby league. I understand that. Am I disappointed in it? 100%, because I think not having him for 2 games is going to be huge. I think
2 big first games.
and I can tell you now, right? I'm going to cop a lot of crap for saying this because everyone's going to go, but Teddy does it every week. There needs to be something done with understanding from the NRL point of view and the judiciary point of view of understanding the situation these players are in. Crossland goes from being about 6'2" to 5'8" in the matter of seconds. Spencer's lining up to put a big shot into his sternum. If you've watched the game, if you watched the hit, that's what he's trying to do.
That's right.
Unfortunately, someone got wrapped around the legs.
And he's falling.
Yeah, and he's falling. And to be brutally honest, the first contact was actually head-on-head because a lot of people must have forgotten this, but Spencer actually went off for a HIA. Crossland stayed on the field. He was fine. Spencer actually went off for a HIA off the head clash. So thankfully he passed, so he's all good on that end. But I agree that, the NRL's got to stamp it out. But I actually liken it to the Josh Curran situation. Now, both were given grade 2 careless. Crossland's falling. I know that's no excuse, and the NRL won't take that as an excuse. That's fine. I completely respect that. But you look at Curran's. Curran didn't have the force that Spencer did because he wasn't trying to put a shot on. But Curran stayed standing and made contact shoulder to head. But didn't try and lower his body. At least Spencer put the effort in to lower his body. And maybe that's something that's got to be
It was unfortunate for Spencer.
Yeah, it's an unlucky thing. Look, I understand the NRL wants to stamp it out as much as they can, and I support that, around everything around CTE and concussions. I think, yes, the only reason Spencer got 2 games, though, is because he got a charge like that last year. Which hurts him, and that's why he gets 2 games, not 1 like Curran did. But
and it hurts the Roosters as well. He will be a big loss for the first 2 games against 2 quality sides.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Luke? Obviously, Penrith round 2, and then next week
Broncos round
Broncos.
Next week.
Are we going to miss him, or do you think we might be able to snag a win out of those
I would have
games?
liked to see him play his old club. Well, I know we play him again round 6 or 7, but
7, I think.
would have been good to see him play against his old club round 2. But I think we'll miss him heaps.
Jordan, I'd ask you this question because you're obviously going to talk soon about the squad. Who would replace Spencer for the starting role for round 1?
Well, it was actually a question I was going to bring up a bit later because I've watched the last 2 weeks and we've played 2 locks. We've played Nafahu White, who I personally, I love it.
You got a big rap on him?
And Siwa Wong. Now, there's a lot of upsetting things to bring back this memory, but obviously when we played Penrith at Penrith in the first semi-final last year, we didn't perform as well as we would have liked. But Siwa Wong stood up and put some big shots on some big boys. Like, he picked James Fisher-Harris up and put him in the ground. So, do we see Siwa slide into that starting role in the front row? Does Nat Butcher come in and play a bit of 10? He's done that before. Or, there's a lot of talk about young guys like Toya starting. Do we give Va'a a go? Bring Va'a onto the bench? He had a really good run against the Dragons last week. So do we bring that young guy in?
Or do we have Blake Steep as well? There's been talk about him as well.
Yeah, but my only thought is Steep hasn't... obviously, he missed week 1 because of he was playing for the Indigenous All-Stars, which, to his credit, I actually watched a lot of his game in there, and he stood up really well, which was brilliant to see. But I think VAR got the shot last year against South, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him get another one.
And he blitzed it.
Or, look, Siwa Wong, we've spoken about as a group a couple times last year as well, and I'd like to see him step up and, really cement a first grade spot consistently.
How about Nafua or White?
I like him at lock. A lot of people are calling for Radley to go back to lock, but I think the problem with Radley at lock, and it was shown a lot last year, is White is very big on. White is a very big running lock. He's a big body, great footwork. Does it well. Yeah, the footwork is what makes Nafahu so dangerous. Radley has all of it, but Radley likes to get his hands on the ball
too much overplay, and that's no disrespect to Rads in any way.
No, I love Rads.
I think we're kind of dictating what Penrith do with Isaiah Yeo. I think a lot of clubs are trying to do that. I think we shouldn't. We should stick to what our strengths are in the first grade team.
Yeah. So because I like Radley on that back edge, but Walker wanted more of the ball last year and he wasn't able to get it. But the moment we move Radley to that right edge,
you start to see more Walker.
It became more defensive defensive help for Walker.
Yep.
But it also freed him up to get the ball a bit more. And White is such a good interim guy. I would rather play White at lock and then Wong maybe in the front row or off the bench.
And to be fair, Rads is a very good defender as well at second
is.
row, and he can protect Sam Walker.
And his lines. I mean, the lines that he runs. There was a play yesterday, and now unfortunately he did knock it on. He lost the ball. Whether it was Townsend's pass was a touch behind him, whether he was a step ahead, don't know. But Radley, when he runs a line, could genuinely be one of the most unstoppable back rowers in the game. And when you think of Angus Crichton on one side, Radley on the other, you're kind of crapping yourself if you're an opposing half, aren't you? If you've got those two running at you.
And it takes time to build combinations as well.
Exactly.
Mentioning Chad Townsend, who's trying to work on his combination with the players around him. So, yeah.
100%.
Speaking of rebuilding and players coming in and out, who knows what happened this year? Injuries, suspensions. So let's talk about rebuilding phase. How do you think the Roosters overall will go this year for 2025?
Well, Luke, I think you should start because you and I were having a talk. So you got a big feeling on this one. So
we can.
Yeah.
You want to lead the way?
I'll lead the way. So just to the fans out there, 2016, the same thing happened. And Robbo, said, we're going to have that rebuilding phase, which we did. We came second last that year. And the following year, we made the prelims against the Cowboys.
That's right.
Then the year after that, went 2 grand finals in a row. So I saw over the last couple of days, a lot of over social media, keyboard warriors going on about the loss. And it was only a trial. But if you're going to stick with the team, stick with us through the wins, the draws, and the losses.
100%.
Not just do the wins. You're gonna have your good times and your bad times. And this year I feel like it's gonna be a big rebuilding stage, but we'll push through it.
I mean, look at it this way. We've seen a lot of success. You could be South fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and this is the thing. I'm glad you actually brought up 2016 because I like to do my homework, as you boys know. So I picked 2 years. Now, 2009, we got the wooden spoon.
Ouch, not good.
It was a crappy year. 2016, we finished in 15th. We won 3 games that year.
Tough year.
Newcastle finished last. They won 1 game, which I think was actually against us.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you could say we technically came last.
We technically came
Just
last.
a reminder, in 2016, we did beat Souths as well.
We did, thankfully. But I got some names here for you boys, and I'm going to read them out because I want to see the confused look on your face because when I was actually doing this, and I like to think I know a fair few players that have played for us, I was very confused at some of these names I was reading out. So the 2009 team, right? So the players we lost from the 2008 squad, I got 4 names here for you. Mickey Paella went to St. George. Amos Roberts was let out of his contract a year early to go to Wigan. Mr. David Shillington went to Canberra. And Anthony Tupou went to Cronulla. Right? They were the 4 main losses. We lost a few reserve graders, but those are the 4 first graders. Listen to the people we signed to replace them.
For 09?
For 09, right? For Freddie's famous final place year.
1 year wonder.
Yeah. Khalid Deeb. Nick Kuparitas.
Nick Kuparitsis.
Kuparitas, sorry.
I've never heard of him.
I'm Aussie. Ray Mujali and Jordan Tansey. Now, Khalid and Ray, the highest level of football they'd played above reserve grade was they played for Lebanon in the 06 World Cup. Nick was a Bulldogs junior. He was playing reserve grade for them, hadn't made it into first grade.
He was actually originally from Canberra.
Was from Canberra, but played a lot of his junior football for Canterbury because he came up early. And Jordan Tansey was from Leeds.
From England, fullback.
Right. Now, I went a bit further because I'm that bloke. These are the guys who made their debuts for us in 2009. Rowan Ahern, Martin Kennedy, Iwi Haruki, I'm going to presume Islander, Tom Simons, Sonny Tugamala, Sisi and Stanley Waka, and Sandor Earl. Now, Sandor actually played for a couple clubs, but yeah, had these issues. So that was 2009, right? Now, 2016. These are the players we lost. Brendan Elliott went to Newcastle. Didn't do much, but played a couple of solid seasons up there. Michael Jennings went to Parramatta, where he
that was a big
continued
loss.
to do what he's doing. That was
Massive
huge.
loss. Yep.
Matt McIlrick, sorry, apologies. He went to Cronulla.
McCurrick, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
McCurrick.
Yep. Nene McDonald went to the Gold Coast. Didn't really do much in terms of first grade, but has played a fair bit for PNG internationally. One of the two biggest losses that year, random bloke, I don't know, played in the halves a little bit. His name's James Maloney. He went to Cronulla. Very. I think I've heard his name, but yeah, he was a huge loss. Siwa Matagi went to Penrith. And probably the one that made me cry the most was RTS went back to New Zealand.
that
was
went
tough.
home.
Yeah, I cried like a little kid that
Honestly,
night.
that was probably the first real heartbreak I'd had in life, and I was
Damn you,
out
Warriors.
of high school by that point. But I can't blame him. But now these are the players we signed that year. Now there's a couple of decent names here, a couple that I feel sorry for because injuries hurt them a bit. We brought Joe Burgess over from Wigan. He wasn't a bad player, but never really.
He wasn't
done
related
much.
to the Burgess brothers. was he?
No relation whatsoever.
No. We have quality when we bring people over from England.
Yeah, I thought so.
With the last name Burgess.
And classy people.
Exactly. Dale Copley, who was playing for Norse at the time, because the Norse weren't our feeder. Brendan Elliott, who was playing for Wyong. Mitchell Free, who was playing for Winner Manly up in Queensland. Ian Henderson, who was playing for Catalans. A big name that we brought over, and he's actually ended up being a big part of 2018, was Ryan Madison.
Yeah.
We signed him from Wentworthville because he wasn't getting a first grade shot.
Yep.
Wow.
Abraham Papali'i, who was playing for Wyong.
Oh, he was very talented, that kid.
He was.
Very
I think
talented.
injuries cut his career
Yeah,
short.
it was
but,
unfortunate, yeah.
Christopher Smith, who was playing reserves for Penrith, he came over.
Chris Smith from Penrith,
Yep. Now, this one, a lot of people, he became a cult hero very quickly. Iloni Vunakisi.
Aloni Vudikefe.
Yeah, Venekefe. Sorry,
Vunikefe.
apologies if you do listen to Iloni.
The Garbo.
But that was the thing, the Garbo with
the
an afro.
afro.
That's the thing. Then
I've seen he's a guy. I've seen him around.
You won't even know him as
He was
well.
good for us.
I loved him. He was a great player. Injuries
Unfortunately,
cut him.
no, concussion is what
That's right.
cut his
Yeah.
career short,
He
unfortunately.
may have went on reality TV.
But yeah, he did.
Yeah, but a quick note
the
about him.
Gladiator show. Was it the Gladiator?
yeah, probably.
Yeah, but he's actually he's on the board for the RLPA now, which is really good.
Good on him.
doing
He's
a
done
lot
good
of work,
things
for players to get
after
there.
rugby league. It's good to see that.
But I'm going to read some names out here. Now, I'm going to intentionally read two names first. Grant Garvey and Vincent Leilua made their debuts for us that year. Now, there's a reason why I've named those two first, because the next lot of names I'm going to say will probably make you guys cry with happiness. Now, Jaden Nikorima, really good, talented half. Has had a couple of chances, but, made some mistakes.
Couldn't get it together, yeah.
Latrell Mitchell.
Who's that?
Two-time premiership winner with the Roosters. Actually, you feel sorry for him. We've just found out he's done his hammy again. So what's that, 6 weeks he's looking at?
Lats.
Sorry. But these next three names are very important. All right? These guys debuted for our club in 2016. Nat Butcher.
Huge.
Connor Watson. Huge. Did go to Newcastle for a bit, but he's back home, so we love him again. And...
Always loved you, Connor.
Look, I did too, but when you're playing for Newcastle, it's a bit harder. And finally, Joseph Manu.
Joey Manu.
Wow.
Those were the guys that debuted for us in 16.
All
now,
three, the big three.
you hit your head on there. You got to be with us, win, lose, or draw, right? 2009, we finished last. 2016, we finished second last. This is the main losses we've had this year, boys. Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, 316 games. Michael Jennings, 307 games. Luke Keary, 231 games. Dylan Napa, 178.
Big naps.
Joey Manu, 181. Joseph Su'ali'i, 66. Terrell May, 53. And Satili Tupanua, 106.
How many games is that? Can you add that up?
I've already done the math
already
on
did it?
this
Wow,
because
he's a nerd, isn't this kid?
I'm not that smart to do it on the spot. 1,438 NRL games we have lost.
That's right there.
Now, I'm going to ask you boys a question. This is going to be an easy answer because, Luke, I know you've got the answer. Who have we signed to replace these 1,438 games of experience?
Chad
Townsend.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. So when you compare that from the losses to one game, it's a big comparison, honestly.
Big difference.
It's huge. It's huge.
And it's big.
And we've got a rugby union convert that came in.
Oh, yes.
Well, we don't know who he's replaced, though. So sorry about your surname, Marky Mark. I'll call you. But
I can say it. But
Go.
Yeah.
You want to hit it?
Yeah. Mark Nawakanitawasi.
Oh, you can tell he's practiced that a few times. But the point I wanted to make, I didn't want to rub the salt into the wound anymore for Roosters fans. We're all upset about what we've lost. But think about 2016, right? Again, Nat Butcher, Joseph Manu, Latrell Mitchell, Connor Watson. Every single one of those players has won a premiership.
Except Connor.
But that's going to happen this year, I hope. I have my dreams. I have my hopes, right?
Sorry, Connor.
But Nat Butcher, Joey Manu were in the under 20s team that won against Penrith, that incredible grand final game.
Yes, they did.
If you haven't watched that, please go watch it.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. It is one of the most incredible comebacks games. Like, Penrith had us dead to rights, and the boys just...
Was it like 26-6 maybe? Penrith
Yes.
go up? And
Yeah. And Nat Butcher, being the inspirational captain he was, went hard, and those boys came out. But yeah, so the reason why I wanted to highlight that is we spoke about some young guys last week. You know, Rob Toya, for example. I think if the rumours are true about Billy Smith's out, at least until round 2, which means Toya will be debuting in round 1. You know, does Toya become the next Latrell Mitchell, Joseph Manu? I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar on that level, but what I'm saying is a guy who debuts and becomes an absolute stud for us. But at the same time, remember, when these guys debuted, they weren't playing like superstars from day one.
No.
They were slowly...
Famously, Latrell
Yeah.
got dropped back to Wyong.
It's all about character and how you build yourself up. And a good attitude as well.
I think it's quite refreshing this year. You got to look at the positives and think, Robbo's just going to drip him in a few plays here and there.
Yeah.
Debut here. And then one day, there could be the next Latrell Mitchell,
Yeah.
right? Or the next Connor Watson. And speaking of young players coming through, do you have any in mind, Luke, which you think are going to have a good old crack this year?
Mate, I think that Toby Rodwell, he's with us till 2028, I think it was.
Yeah.
Big rap on him.
Mate, I watched his highlights last week actually, and he's like in SG Ball, I think it was last year, wasn't he?
Where's he from?
played
Is he-
against the Dragons as well.
Is he a Central Coast boy by any chance?
I think so, no.
No? Okay. Toby Rodwell? No?
I'm not too sure.
I know
where
Jake
he's from.
Elliott. That's another half. Jake Elliott and obviously Sandon Smith.
Actually, sorry, I'm going to digress for a second. I want to talk about Sando for a second. Sorry, you made me think of it. You made me think of it.
Yeah, good
I
game
gave
on
him
the
raps
weekend.
after the Dragons game, right? And I know there's not a lot of good coming out of yesterday for a lot of people. But I actually thought Sando was a highlight. Look, he had a couple of defensive misreads and a couple of missed tackles. Crap happens, with the way that Newcastle are playing, that's fine. But he ran for something like 199 metres, scored a try, kicked the conversion, converted his own try. Good job there, mate. I actually thought he was probably one of our best on ground. And to be honest, I thought the same of him last week against the Dargans, the other week against the Dargans. So, they'll forever be the Dargans now after that one. But you made me think of it, and I just thought Sando deserves a shout out because, man, he's had a lot of criticism, and I think he's really trying to step up and be the number 6 that we need.
Sorry to butt in, but I don't think he's getting appreciated enough by our fans. And I think our fans need to look at all the little things he's doing right. It's all about the 1%ers.
100%.
That makes you a better player, guys.
Yeah,
And
I
you
mean,
guys
look,
know that too.
yeah, you get all the positives. There's the one negative thing. You look at that, but I thought he played solid. And he was trying to do some creative things.
Yeah.
Luke,
He'll only
Luke
get better
he's
as
got
well.
a big opportunity this year, Luke, don't you think?
I think he does, and we were talking about it last week. I think he's going to keep his spot in the halves, personally.
Look, him and Walker, especially with the way Sando, obviously everyone knows Walker has that heads up, just reacts game. But if Sando sets into hey, I'm in a kicking mood today, and Walker is in a running mood, it could be very, very strong. And vice versa. If Walker's in a kicking mood, Sando's in a running mood.
And it's very unpredictable to pick up on them as well, what mood they're in.
Yeah, they're both very heads up, what's in front of them.
Eyes up footy.
Football, yeah, that eyes up footy. So, you could game have Sando kicking the ball downfield, driving it into corners. The very next week, Walker's doing it and Sando's doing all the running, and vice versa. And that could actually be a headache for a lot of clubs because you can't prepare for that.
Yeah, they could be the halves come 2026. So.
Sorry to butt in a bit again, but you know what? Even a lot of clubs have got a lot of older halves, and how many years do you reckon they've got left with them? Can we name just a couple quickly? That I just wanted to throw out there. Adam Reynolds. We just lost Sean Johnson. We've got Cameron Munster and Jerome Hughes hitting around the 30-year-old mark. We've got the Cowboys have got the young ones, actually. The Gold Coast have Kieran Foran.
Yeah,
Well, actually, speaking of Foran, though, one thing, if he's torn his bicep, like the reports are he tore his bicep on the weekend against the Dolphins. And if that's true,
that could be it.
That could be it. But one thing I will say on that, if you're a Gold Coast fan, and I say this with all due respect to Kieran, he's had a great career, don't be upset. Because you got Jaden Campbell and AJ Brimson, and to be honest, they were scary. Some of the things I saw them doing, they were scary. So
you're starting to see the rewards of their development because they've played a bit of ball. Jaden has been on the bench. Then you've had AJ Brimson play off the bench too. So they're both working on their game. And AJ Brimson, by the way, has played State of Origin. Yeah. So he's played in the higher in the big arena.
I think AJ is that one guy like any footy team would like him.
He can play hands down.
Yeah, man, he'll do whatever you want for
hands
him.
down. And I think he's going to be a massive key player for them this year.
And I think as well, Luke, you were saying it the other day when we were talking. He's like when the Broncos, all that talk about. Remember when they wanted to sign Walker? Yeah. Was because there's not a lot of good young halves on the ground anymore. And
that's right.
I remember you saying that to me because it's like there isn't a lot of good young halves. There's a few guys coming up. There's Jake Elliott, obviously, who we've got in our system. The Bulldogs have
Mitch Woods,
who they reckon will be the next big thing. But beyond that, there's no
standouts.
There's no Nathan Clearys and Jerome Luai's coming through.
Yeah,
my honest top 8. I think Storm will get the minor premiership, and most of you probably agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Penrith, they'll be up there. I reckon it'll be a fight for the minor premiership. Penrith will come second.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's saying Cronulla is going to make the top 4. Personally, I think the other 2 spots will be Broncos and Cowboys.
Ooh,
wow, okay.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Top 4.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Why the Cowboys?
I think Bateman with Nanai in the forwards, I think that's going to be strong. Tommy Dearden.
The season knee.
I think he's going to have a big
Helam
big
Luki
year.
as
Tommy
well.
Dearden.
That's a big loss as well.
Yeah,
And Robson is coming to us next year, but I think this year's going to finish up on a high with
maybe
the Cowboys.
one last big year for the
One
Cowboys
big one,
before he comes to us.
And
Yeah,
then when they have Scotty Drink, outside of Teddy,
Scotty
he's
Drink.
Scott Drinkwater. He's
He's
swinging out the back.
passing.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so silky.
I think they're going to
So
honestly make the
silky.
4.
I might have to put Cowboys.
Continue on,
So
Lukey.
Broncos and Cowboys. 5th Sharks. I think Sharks will just not make the 4. Bulldogs numbers are in the 6th spot.
Yep.
Manly 7th. Everyone's predicted Manly a bit higher, but I reckon they'll just make the 8.
Mm-hmm.
And Newcastle 8th. So like all honesty, I don't think we'll make the 8.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're in a rebuilding stage, and we'll go get stronger from here.
Where have you got us finishing, Luke?
I reckon we'll just miss it on the 8. I reckon
you
we'll
like
come
9,
10th,
10?
9th or 10th.
Yeah, no,
That's a fair
respect.
I don't
comparison.
think we'll go too low, but I think we'll just miss
it'll
out.
be in contention, especially if you look at the last few years. The top sort of that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 have all been reasonably close. So
That's right.
if we're around the pack, it's a good sign.
And like you mentioned before, and this is to any Roosters fan, all the players that you mentioned before that we've lost, if we make the come 9th or 10th, I'll be more than happy with.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's a great result regardless.
I remember saying that to some Doggies fans last year because they're all like, we've got to make the 8. And I'm like, honestly, I don't think it's about making the 8. I think it's about being competitive and getting close. And,
and the brand of football that you're playing to attract the fans.
Yeah, and I mean, they finished 6th, which was huge. But I think it's a similar thing for us this year. Still be excited about what we've got coming.
Yeah.
Who's getting your spoon, though?
I think I'm going to be a bit biasy, but Parramatta, I reckon.
There we go.
Para fans out
Guys,
there.
it's taken us half an hour for
Ouch.
our first bit of para bashing.
I reckn they're going to form. Lomax and Odakar.
Para.
It's still new.
Wow.
No Gutherson. He's gone to the drag.
they've got
Dargans.
Yeah, the Guthrie one's a bit controversial. You know, I know a
Yeah.
few paramates have said it was the wrong call to let him go, but
And he was a captain as well, by the way.
To be honest, I think as well it could be one of those things where letting him go was a good thing. And I say that with all due respect because look, as much as I give him crap, he was the heart and soul of that team. Like he was injured at the end of last year, and he was putting in more effort than half the other players combined. So
Do you think it will be a spoon bowl again this year, like 16 versus 17?
Against who?
Like if they play in the last round, do you think there could be a possible spoon
We'd
bowl?
have to have
you never
we'd
say
have to have
never.
a look at who's
You nev-
playing in the last round, though.
Yeah, but you never say never. So anything's possible. It's rugby league. You know how it is.
Well, if it's going to be a spoon bowl, it'll be Souths and Para because I've put Souths, wooden spooners, you know.
I love it. That's the best.
I think they're just going to have a rough year. Like, look at last year; they've had a rough year.
You reckon it's going to be a repeat?
This is I think this is Wayne's final dance. Like, he's just going to go out with a spoon and. You know, that's it. That's all.
You know, he's got a 3-year contract. You know that.
Yeah, he's got
No,
a 3-year contract. Do you reckon he's done after this year?
I think the spoon's going to rattle him. I really do. I think, Latrell's got the 8 weeks, but I like Jai Gray. I think he's a good fullback. He might think, you know what, Jai, we might keep you at fullback. We might put Trell in the centres.
Good luck with that.
Look, to be honest,
Depends. It depends
if the
on
Trell
egos.
goes into the centres, I actually genuinely reckon him and Whiten in the centres could be one of the
I'll
most
carve it
dangerous
up.
centre pairings in the
100%.
game.
It depends. Like, is it Lewis Dodd? Like, you know, he didn't have the best. I think he's even missing the first 2 rounds.
He's missing round 1. Yeah, he got a grade
Copped
2
a
as well,
suspension,
but
yeah.
first offence he'll get 1 week. So, and he's accepted, I believe.
And look, the most disappointing part is despite that we don't like Souths, it's a shit go what's happened to Cam Murray, unfortunately at training, did his Achilles.
Yeah, that's tough.
And he's
fan,
now
that
going to be
hurts.
out for about, 6 to 7 months?
Look,
it's a long-term injury.
Safe bet is to say the whole year. If he comes back, it won't be until late in the year.
Finals.
Like maybe 2 weeks before finals. But who's your 1 to 8, Presto? Sorry, we interrupted you a bit there.
Yeah, I'll quickly roll it off. Melbourne, Manly, Broncos, Penrith, Cronulla, Bulldogs. I reckon they'll stay in the same position as last year. For me, 7th, I've got an Eels. I reckon they will make the 8.
What?
Okay, hang on. I've actually got 2 questions for you out of
Yes,
that.
please go ahead.
First of all, Para.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear the reasoning. Manly finishing 2nd. Do you reckon that actually happens? And if Trbojevic gets hurt, what happens?
Well, if Trbojevic gets hurt, then Manly they'll fall. They will fall. But I think Trbojevic will have a really good year this year. He's had a few unlucky years of injuries, but I like what Manly are doing, and I think they'll come 2nd.
But you got to give
Luke
him
Brooks deserves it though.
You got to give him a little bit more credit. I know Tom's a big loss if he does get injured, but they do have the emergence of Lehi Hopewadi, who's been a great player at the back end of last year. Ruben Garrick, solid centre, will do the job. Who else is there? There's a few others. I can name Jason Saab. So they've got a decent squad, man.
They've got a decent squad, but
That's what I'm saying.
it feels like they all put the pressure on Tom.
I think they'll spread the pressure out a bit this year. I don't think they're going to solely just think of Tom.
And DCE undecided on his
last
future.
ride.
Yeah, undecided on his future as well. So we don't know what's going on
He's
there.
only signed for this year as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
I don't think he's signed for next year yet, but there was talks he'll take 1 year deals just until his career's up.
I think they're cooking someone on the Northern Beaches. Look, they lost to us in the semi?
Semi, yeah.
We put it to them, but I think that's going to really motivate them to go the extra step this year.
And Para, I've got to ask you about Para, man. Come on, why?
Something's telling me Para. I don't know what it is, but I think Lomax will have a really good year. He'll get. I think he's going to play centres this year or wing.
Yeah, centre.
I
It'd
think
be
he might
interesting to see if he stays at centre though.
Yeah.
Why ruin something that's
It
been
works.
working for
He
you?
got him an Australian jumper.
And that's no
don't
disrespect
know.
to Zach. Zach, mate, great player, but I think, mate, wing is your position. You are unbelievable for St. George.
I think if he stays on the wing, he could get wing of the year, and I think he'll just create a good combination with Moses. I think Moses will have another good year. He'll be pushing for the Blues, depending on Cleary.
He was too much, man. He was actually too much for a St. George team. He was just too good.
So
Imagine what Parramatta have got now in their hands.
you made a point there about Moses pushing for the jersey. Now, controversial opinion for some people anyway. A lot of people are saying Cleary walks straight back into the 7, right? Does that mean Moses and Luai are fighting for the 6?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think Moses should have a heads up over Luai because of his performance last year?
Well, you know what? You can't go based on last year because they're going to basically judge Luai's form as well for West Tigers. Remember, he's gone to a club that's got 3 wooden spoons. So
I agree, but Game 3 in Suncorp, Moses owned that situation.
He did.
And look, I'm the first person to say that Moses hasn't owned a lot of his opportunities as a Blues player, but he owned that. And look, a lot of it has to do, we had a great forward pack and everything he worked behind. But a lot of those single moments that was one player needed to step up, he done such a good job.
He did.
Is there ever a conversation where Moses plays 7 and Cleary plays 6?
But this is the issue, right? Origin, it should be earned on form.
I
You
agree.
earn your right into that jersey. You don't earn it because of reputation. And this is the problem. It's been going on for too long. And I blame Queensland for this because the stick and pick is what's destroyed everything. And New South Wales
Like, you
goes,
just got to look at their players, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Queensland.
it works when
okay,
that's
fair
why.
enough.
They
That's fair enough. They won, 9 in a row?
8 in a row, yeah.
Yeah, 8 in a row. Sorry, my mistake.
8 horrible years in a row.
And one of the best spines to ever be assembled together. It's just
Hold
crazy.
on. Can I just? Did you say not for me, Luke?
Yeah, no, I'm a Queensland supporter, so
And-
that's all right.
And where are you born? Where you
I
born?
don't know this guy.
Imagine being
Well,
one
I
of
was
those
born-
blokes
I
who's
was born
born
in-
in New South Wales.
Tell
but-
me, how do you get to Ipswich, Mr. Luke?
On a plane.
Oh,
You could
cool.
drive, you could
Is there
drive.
an airport in Ipswich? Is there?
So the reason I go for Queensland,
It's because Westmead's born in Queensland.
I took after my dad. So my grandmother, she was born up in Queensland, and yeah, just we're in the family.
So basically, how Queensland tries to pull players into the Queensland squad is the same way Luke's done.
Haven't you
it.
ever heard that song? Like, oh, Fiji, that's
It's in Queensland.
Yeah.
Quality song.
No,
Westmead, that's in Queensland.
There probably is a suburb of Westmead in Queensland. You never know.
I don't
You better
think
Google
so.
that
I think
after
there's
the show.
Crestmead, actually. Crestmead.
Close enough.
Close enough.
All right, well, getting back to...
let's go.
We'll bit off topic. What?
Theo's top 8.
Top 8.
So Paramount.
Theo's
Oh, yeah,
top
Para.
8.
And
Yeah.
another little thing as well.
You had to.
No. Yeah.
Did you have to finish yours?
Just with Para, I think... I could be wrong here, but look, Robbo, when he took over from Brian Smith at the Roosters, first year as coach, he won a comp. Not saying Riles can do it, but Riles was under Bellamy and Robbo. He's been under the two of the best.
To be honest, yeah, he's probably had the best assistant coach apprenticeship that
He's
anyone
done his
could have.
apprenticeship.
And funnily enough, the Dragons said no to him. So
No, he said no to the Dragons job.
sorry, yeah, he said no.
He
to
met the
Dragons.
requirements that he wanted.
Yeah,
I think, and look, they missed the 8 last year, Para. I think they're just going to be burning a bit. You know, how many years now? 36 years since they haven't won one.
Well, it's funny that you say they're going to be burning because if they never burnt down the stadium, they might have won a premiership. But that's what happens when your fans
The old
celebrate too
curse.
hard.
The old
All right,
curse.
It's been a
Your
long
top eight?
time.
Did you name who's your wooden spoon, by the way?
Yes.
South. Oh, South.
Who's your wooden
My
spoon, mate?
mistake. I'll first start with top 8 before I go to the wooden spoon. You know. Okay, so top. Who's going to get number 1? Everyone's gone for Melbourne, but I don't know, man. Melbourne are playing a bit
I was
funny.
actually going to put him second, but
Ryan Pappenhausen, no offense to the bloke, always injured the poor bloke, but if they can't get him fit, like, it's going to be a tough ask to come first, man, because you haven't got your spine members every week on the field. You need them on the field. So I'm going to go number 1, but this is going to sound now even more of a hypocrite comment. I'm going to go with Manly to win the minor premiership. Why?
I've convinced you. That's
Because look, I like their squad. I like their Tom, Ruben Garrick, Jason Saab, Leo Hopewadi, and the emergence of Tommy Talau, who was not wanted at West Tigers.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Crazy how he's turned his form around. So good on the bloke. Luke Brooks is another one as well. He's been a revelation ever since he made the move to Manly. We've probably, in my honest opinion, if not the best, he's got to be up there as the top 3 halfback
Cherry
in
Evans.
Cherry
Yeah,
Evans.
Cherry Evans,
GC
yeah.
can
Very underrated.
hit with his right, hit with his left. He's got field goals in him. Who else?
Well, how do you think Takiaho will go for Manly, considering an old Rooster of ours?
Look, he's an
He's at the
experienced
back
head.
end of his career, obviously.
Look, an experienced head. Like, we could have used Takiaho, to be honest with you. But look, he's at Manly, and he'll add value to the Manly forward pack. And then they've got Ola Kawatu. I could keep going on
It's a
about
scary
Manly.
pack.
But
Lodge's-
Manly have actually like solved their deficiencies in certain areas.
They've got
now.
Lodge coming back this year as well. He's on
He's on
a
a trial
training
deal.
trial,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that may get upgraded at some
Doing
point.
that in a bit of boxing.
And to be fair, he done well for them last year. So
Yeah. I'll finish off my top 8. Sorry, because we've just gone on about Manly. So I'm going to put Penrith. He's like, come on, man, guys. I'm always going to prefer them in the top 2. They're a freak of an outfit. Doesn't matter who they lose. They know how to replace them. Anyway, I'm still going on and on and on. So we'll go to Penrith. Then we'll go Melbourne at 3rd. And then this one probably might be controversial, but I'm probably going to hit your ladder. Brisbane Broncos. Why? New coach. They've got the squad. I just think Kevin Walters just couldn't get the better of these players. If Reece Walsh has a clear mind, you're in trouble. Simple as that.
I think I've got them. I reckon they might win the comp in my eyes.
Look, the first couple of weeks will determine where they are. New coach, it's going to obviously take time, but I think Brisbane will be up there, man. They're going to be a threat. to
When
the
Ezra
premiership.
Mam comes back, I reckon if no one's injured and they're all in form,
well,
I reckon
So,
they'll make the top
actually, a
4.
question on that when Mem comes back, because at the moment it's lined up that
Round
Hunt's
8, is it?
round 9, I think.
Round 9.
But Hunt is playing 6 and Reynolds is playing 7. Does Hunt play hooker for them?
Well, what happens if they've won that many games? Do you actually drop one of the halves to the bench?
But that's what I mean. Like the Maguire could have a massive conundrum, and look, Maguire's got a lot of raps on him because of what he done at South in 2014. A blind squirrel could have won a comp with that club. Like, let's be honest. Like, they were the only team that I reckon could have beaten them was probably that Bulldogs team, and maybe us if we were at full strength.
We choked that,
and we choked against South, so we didn't deserve to be there. But yeah, that could be a huge conundrum for Maguire in his first year up there.
I think Broncos will be top 4. There's no doubt about it. They've got a good squad. All they've got to solve is their hooker's position. It depends what they do with, obviously, Ben Hunt and obviously Billy Walters and Corey Pakes. But anyway, we'll leave that up to them. So 5th will be the Cronulla Sharks. Like I said, I know it's a bit of a drop-off for them, but I still believe that they're missing a spine player to help Nico and Brandon Trindle out. And I'm talking about the fullback position. Yeah. It's no disrespect to Will Kennedy. Will Kennedy's a good player, but I don't think he'll go to the next level.
Like he just doesn't have that X factor.
Yeah, I agree. I think their spine.
Yeah.
I think but you look at their pack there, like they just got Adam Fanua Blake. They're fine in that department.
Yeah, the forward pack they're working behind with Fanua Blake's going to be huge.
This might sound biased, but I am going to throw my Roosters in. I'm just putting it based on, this is basically on Sam Walker to return and have one of those seasons and come back strong, but we take our time with him when he comes back. And I'm not ruling out Joey Manu to return to back to the Sydney Roosters.
Imagine that.
Look,
imagine.
And I'll put Joey Manu potentially either at 5'8" or fullback to move Teddy around.
I've got a lot of I've seen a lot of stuff online about everyone's like, oh, Manu's coming back. And look, I would love it to happen, but let me say one thing to everyone who's relying on Manu to come back. Don't rely on him to come back. Because at the end of the day, he may not. And that hurts, and it hurts me to say that. But there's so many people I've seen that going, Manu's coming back, yeah, I know we're leaving a spot. Doesn't mean he's coming back, man. Like,
guys, I'm just only being hypothetical, but I'm being positive about my Roosters. And that's what
I love the optimism.
You're being optimistic, and he might say, you know what, he's done Japan. He might want to go to Europe now, play some union there.
And don't forget, we've left 4 spare spots in the top 30, haven't we?
Yeah. I think you'll find 3 of them will get filled, but yeah.
But if it does not happen, everything to fruition that I'm asking for with Walker and Manu, there's a chance we'll miss the top 8, and I'll go with Luke's comment earlier, so 9th or 10th.
We can all agree around that, but 7th to 10th.
And 7th will be the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs when we play yous in the first week of the finals at Allianz Stadium. So touchline, boys, I'll be seeing yous real soon. And then 8th position, this one will be very controversial, more controversial than Para.
Let me have a guess.
Who are we going to go with?
Dragons.
No.
Newcastle?
Nope.
Raiders.
Nope. Raiders, please.
Not
Titans.
South.
Yes.
Titans.
Bang on, Jordan. Now, reason why I say the Titans, I rate their squad. I just think that, you know what, sooner or later, they've got to take this competition a bit more serious, man. I know everyone calls it a transit lounge over there. It is. Realistically, it is. But no offense to you Gold Coast supporters out there, but, man, you guys have got to now make the top 8. This is becoming a laughing stock.
I'd like
It's a big
to see
year
them
for
make
them.
I like it.
They've got the ability.
Can I just go through their squad quickly? See, they've got their captain back, Tino Fasualawi, who was a
Huge
big
game.
loss
Huge game,
last
huge
season.
game.
Dave Fafita, obviously well documented, didn't want to come to the Roosters, but we'll leave that for another day. Beau Fermont, who I've got a big rap on, I think is very underrated second rower. And Mo Fodawaker, Regal Campbell.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah.
Who was
CG went up there, yeah.
Jamin Jolliffe, is that right?
Jamin Jolliffe,
He's
yeah.
another big body.
Khan Pereira.
Pereira.
He's a gun, that
Bro,
Pereira.
he was
Bro,
such a gun.
Jaden Campbell, another year under his belt, wherever they put him at 5'8". AJ Brimson. They got that Carter Gordon guy from Rugby Union.
Actually, so I know we spoke about them before, but I want to add on to what you just said then about Campbell and Brimson. There was a play in the Dolphins game that nearly come off. Now, it didn't come off. Brimson knocked it on, but I was watching it and thinking about how dangerous it could be this year, right? Campbell and Brimson have both played fullback a lot in their lives. They're both technically fullbacks. And Campbell put a bomb up. Brimson went through and went one-on-one with Hammer, right? He outleapt the Hammer. Now, that's impressive for any man to do because, let's be honest, Hammer's a damn good fullback, good leap on him. But could you imagine the amount of bombs that Brimson or Campbell could put up with the other running through on the opposition fullback? You theoretically got fullback on fullback there. That's a lot of opportunity there.
So, like I said,
I think,
it's
I see where you're coming from. It's like they've got the squad to do it. It's like they just got to do it. I think there's games last year where I was listening to a potty, AJ Brimson was on it, and he was saying, the thing that just really annoyed them is that they were just losing games by like 4 points here, and then they were fading in the
It's
second
a
half.
mental mindset.
Yeah,
for them.
their second halves are horrible.
I think it's a
last
mental
year.
mindset. I
Yeah.
think it's all about their mindset. And I think Des Hasler is still a good coach and he can offer a lot to them. You know what? There's another player that we forgot to mention, Keanu Kinney. And and this guy, he's got wheels on him. And
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what he reminds me of? When Des Hasler coached him at the Bulldogs, Ben Barber.
Oh, Benny Barber.
Oh,
And you saw
yeah.
what Ben Barber did in 2012. This guy can actually play some football, Keanu Kinney. And he played for New Zealand. So
And also a full year of Sam Verrills if he stays healthy.
Oh,
and Sam
Sammy
Verrills is a really
I
good
love that guy,
hooker.
bro.
I miss
Should
him.
never left. Should never
Yeah,
left.
because there was a point that was made on the commentary on the weekend, but if they get him back for a full year, that could be a big thing for them.
We could leave this for another day, but I wish we kept Sammy Verrills.
Yeah.
Definitely we would need a whole segment on that, but I agree.
And obviously, I'll just go to my wooden spoon because I've dragged on too long. Wooden spoon. I'm going to go with the Wayne Bennett curse. It's unfortunately the Redcliffe Dolphins. Unfortunately, sorry guys.
Poor Christian Wolf has been absolutely successful.
I can see this happening. It's just it's not a good look. I hope
So-
it's South, but I think it's the Dolphins.
Could be like instead of the spoon bowl, could be like the Bennett bowl.
Well,
South style.
hey, so funnily enough, like if we actually go to my 8 and my spoons, I've got the Rabbits winning my spoon because of Murray being out when he wasn't there last year. Good opportunity for Talis Duncan, but they struggled. And Latrell. So I've actually got them winning the spoon, but I have the Dolphins coming second last.
So it's going to
So
be
we
around
generally could have
Pretty close.
a Bennett spoon bowl.
Bennett bowl.
The Bennett bowl. If it comes up later this year, we're gonna have to.
This is
call
going
it
to be
Bennett bowl.
hilarious.
But yeah, I've got the Rabbits winning my spoon like you because I just think, like you, Lukey, because I think they're going to struggle this year, and I don't know. I don't see it being much better than last year. But my 8, which boys, to be honest, I'm not that much different from you boys. There's only one big mover I've had in my 8.
Yep.
I got the Storm winning the minor premiership, and I'm going to call it. I got Storm winning the premiership this year because I reckon they're going to be angry after last year. They're going to be hurt. Hughes had probably one of the greatest seasons by a halfback last year, and man, I think they're going to want it this year. And Munster was injured most of last year, so yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing there is like if Pappy or Munster pick up a few injuries, then maybe. But if they're fit all year, I think
Even if they don't have Pappy,
2017, they did it.
The fullback.
The fullback.
Yeah, I know.
Suafa Longo.
Longo,
That's it,
yeah.
yeah.
Like you got him, he's just as impactful. But look, the big challenge will always be Penrith. I got Penrith coming second. I've got 2 big movers. I got the Doggies in at 3.
now you put him in the 4. Yeah.
You're putting the Dogs at
Big
4.
call,
No,
Jordy.
3. I'm putting the Dogs
Three?
at 3.
That's a big call.
Now, I'm going to give a reason for this, and I've said this to so many Dogs fans. The reason they lost that game against Manly is because Reid Marnie tried to be a grub and it backfired, right? You and me were at that game, Luke. We were sitting there. The moment Marnie tried to grub up on Manly and DCE and all that, DCE flicked a switch and went, bang, take this. Right. They lost the game. I think if the Bulldogs pull that out of their game, and I'm going to mention probably one of the most underrated forwards in the game, Max King. Absolutely love him. I know he's a friend of Emilio and the Touchline boys, but I love Max King. I think he's one of the best forwards in the game. I hope he plays Origin soon.
Very underrated.
Very underrated, very hardworking. So I've got the Doggies coming in at 3.
How do you reckon they'll go in the finals? Like, you reckon they'll make the grand final?
I don't think they'll make the grand final.
Prelims?
I reckon they will. I reckon they'll lose to the Panthers round 1. And then they'll win the round 2 game and then lose the prelim. That's how I feel. And that's not a shot against them. I don't think they're going to get
So they'll
flogged.
pick up a win in the finals.
They'll pick up a win in the finals, pick up a bit of confidence, and that'll help them out. Now, I've done this. I've kept the Sharks at 4. Now, Fitzy-led team, is always going to be built on defense. Defense wins premierships. Will at least get you to the finals. But the Sharks every year are consistent. They're always 3, 4, 5. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know how they manage it. Because they die once we get to finals, but they get there. So I'm backing them to do that again. My major mover is the Knights. So they finished 8th last year. I got them finishing 5th. That left side, left side attack.
Bradman Best and
Yeah.
Kalen Ponga.
Just yesterday, just watching Fletcher Sharp, Bradman Best, Kalen Ponga, that left side attack. And to be honest, I actually had them missing the 8 before yesterday. I had to adjust this morning after watching them yesterday to make it.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
It's just a trial.
Yeah, but they were going at 110%. And look, a lot of clubs will struggle to contain that. And then, so the thought process is, right, you take out that left side attack, right? Let's say someone manages to shut that down. They're going to do a lot of damage to your right side defense. it's either going to tire and let tries through or let points through, or they're going to last second switch on you, go to their right side. So, and then you've got Gagai, Marzu over there who can do some damage.
Yeah, I thought Gagai was quite impressive, actually. He's getting old, but he looked good, and then Ponga still is dangerous.
Someone obviously switched him into Queensland mode before the game because he
Queensland
definitely
gags.
wasn't in normal Newcastle mode.
I'm excited to see more Fletcher Sharp.
Bro, Fletcher,
reckon he'll have a
if
big
you
year.
play Supercoach, Fletcher Sharp at 6, I'm telling you now, it would be one of the best buys of the year. That's the only piece of Supercoach advice I'm going to
That's
give.
for you, Theo.
I'm going to give
I'm
that.
going to be out of this.
Quick question before you finish your 8. Do you think Jackson Hastings will make his way back into the 8?
I
Not the
re-
8, sorry, the team?
I genuinely think Jack Cogger and Fletcher Sharp should be their halves. Adam O'Brien was asked yesterday and he went, he tried to play coy and was like, we're in trials,
Ducks and
we're
drakes.
learning it, trying to not give anything away. Cogger, the way he played for Penrith in the grand final against Brisbane, how when he came on after Luai came off and straightened them up, I think shows that leadership. I don't think Jackson Hastings even plays halfback in New South Wales Cup.
So you think he's out of the club
I think
potentially?
he's playing lock in New South Wales Cup. There's been some rumours about it. I reckon he'll play lock in New South Wales Cup. I reckon they're looking to offload him. Between Cogger, Sharp, I think they've got their starting halves there. Last year, I think they had, now I could get this wrong, it was either 11 or 13 different halves pairings.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. They just got to stick to it, I think, Nui, and then...
And I think
Find
Jaden
some
Brayley is
consistency.
going to have a big year for them because there was a lot of stuff made about him being dropped from the leadership group. So I reckon he has a big year. Ponga at fullback, when he's on the field, he's going to make some damage happen. So that's why I got Knights at 5. I think they've got the potential to do it, but it would be a few things coming together.
Who's the rest of your 8?
So then finishing in 6, I got Manly.
Yep.
7th, I've got us, the Roosters.
Yep.
Now for 8th, I had to flip a coin here. All right. I wanted to give it to the Tigers because I think picking up Terrell May, Jerome Luai, Skelton played brilliantly in the 2 trials for them. I think they're going to get close. I think the Dragons will just pip them and get into the 8. And I'm talking like it might be for and against. So special mention to the Tigers. I actually have them coming 9th. So a lot of Tigers fans will remember that, but I think you guys will appreciate 9th after 3 wooden spoons.
I've put them 9th. They love it. They love finishing.
They love finishing 9th. And look, you know what? 9th is better than dead last.
They'll love that, the Tigers fan.
They'll improve. They'll improve.
But that's the thing. That's the improvement for them.
If they don't improve this year, if they get a 4th spoon, they just have to blow the club up, I think.
They might as well just...
I'm just saying, like...
But you know what? At the end of the
the
day,
joint venture gone.
this is the team that Benji wanted.
Mm.
Benji's put his team together, so there has to be some improvement. Now, I'm not saying they have to make the 8, but this is the team Benji wanted. This is the team Benji has gone out
He's
and
picked
got.
up
Attractive for football.
Royce
Yeah.
Hunt, Terrell May.
Mate, Terrell May on the weekend, he was brilliant.
I was at that game, and
I don't know how he's in
like
the
him and
Tigers
Royce Hunt, mate. I wouldn't want to come up against them.
Nah.
Look, I wouldn't be
They are two
surprised if May
machines.
plays Origin this year.
Yeah,
It was
that's a
it was
big
talked
call.
about it last year.
Yeah, it was.
right.
I genuinely reckon he's at least in the discussions this year.
Talking about the Tigers, how long's Brett Naden out for? Because he got injured on the weekend.
He looked alright. He looked good.
There was talks of it being a dislocated kneecap. So if that's all it is, that's a lot better than if it was an ACL,
ACL, yeah.
MCL, because obviously
It looked
ACL
pretty
is
ugly.
done.
I think if anyone wants information, follow NRL Physio for
Yeah.
that info.
Yeah, I believe he reported it was a dislocated kneecap. So hopefully, fingers crossed he's all good. But yeah.
And then last was South.
Yeah, last was South.
Look cool. Just to say it one more time.
Just to say it one more time.
South Sydney
for the
Rabbitohs
spoon.
to come
I
dead
Is
last.
that the Homebush team? Homebush? Yeah.
They're the
call
blokes
for
that don't
life.
have a home because they're out. I think they're at Heffron Park. They're playing out of East Gardens. Sorry, they're training out of East Gardens. Sorry, my bad. But
And then look, this could all backfire and we come last. But
we could be 100%
Touch
wrong.
We're not
But you
gonna
know
last.
what? We're not paid
I'm
to
just saying.
we're not paid to predict ladders. There are people smarter than us that are paid that get it wrong every year. So hey,
well-
if we get it wrong, we're just like the experts.
That's it.
I never played the game, so there's my 2 cents right there. All right, well we'll move on now from our predictions. Let's talk about Vegas, Sin City. So out of us 4, only one of us went last year to see the Chookies defeat the Broncos. And that was you, Luke. Tell us about how was the stadium, like America, Fremont Parade, like just how was it compared to Australia?
Boys, I tell you, Sin City was fucking amazing.
Swear jar! The swear jar! Now, for those of you that have asked, this is actually our Mad Monday fund / swear jar. We bought it because we thought Luke would have put about $100 in it by now, but that's his first entrance. So, thank you. Well done. Well done.
And
Luke.
now Piggy's being filled up.
Only took 2 episodes.
Exactly.
But no, it was amazing. On the day of the game, the winds were like 70 kilometer winds.
It was ridiculous.
No, it was quite
And,
windy that day.
Mate, luckily the stadium was like closed,
Indoor.
like indoors.
State of
walking to
the art over there.
It's Allegiant Stadium, isn't it?
Allegiant Stadium.
Tell us a bit more. Like, how was the seating, the atmosphere? Just
Mate, it was amazing. Like it just, person was asking me before, what would you compare it to a stadium in Australia? I said honestly,
None.
I couldn't compare
like
any
maybe Allianz,
stadium.
maybe or not.
No
really?
chance.
I don't think even
Oh,
Allianz
I couldn't.
comes near. Like,
Mate, this stadium was amazing, and
Just
to watch
steroids.
it, the entertainment.
some of the photos you
It's on
showed me as
roids. I
well.
reckon it's on roids 10 times more.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
But I feel like the American investment in their stadiums is much more than what we do,
Oh, 100%.
because but the experience they give is so different.
See the turf, how they move it in? How it
Yeah,
gets put in?
from outside.
yeah, because
We
they
don't
can't
do
get
that.
the
And
sun
that
on
cost
them.
millions.
Yeah, I
They
think as well. Like their big thing over there is like the cost of it, like to attend, and also if you're at an NFL game, you're there for 3.5 hours compared to an hour, like 2 hours at an NRL game where it's a bit more.
I think it's more in the States. So everything's just bigger and like it's just
Bigger
so
and better.
different in Australia. And like if you've never been there, it's like even with the NFL, what do they do before the games? They get the barbecues out. And
Yeah, the
Yeah,
tailgating.
That's
If you
tailgate.
ever get
Yeah.
a chance to tailgate, do it. It's one of the greatest things. I've done it a couple of times at like college games and that. Oh my
There's
god,
a lot
it's
more.
amazing.
There's a lot more things to do over there in the United States when it
The-
comes to
the
a sporting
whole
events.
experience,
Yeah.
the whole game day experience is just next level.
Do you, yeah,
I'll tell you something I loved over there.
yeah.
Walking to the stadium, I met so many Americans on the way, and so many Americans actually went to the game. Never watched rugby league before, just saw the ads in Vegas,
They did a
and
huge
asking
one.
questions about it. They loved it. Around us, I think there was more Americans around my dad and I at
Yeah.
the game
Yeah.
than Aussies. But I heard today on the radio there's 10,000 from the UK going over,
Yep.
and about 20,000 from here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because Wigan and I can't remember.
Warrington, Sam
Warrington,
Burgess.
Yeah, because apparently Burgess didn't get on the plane because of visa problems.
Apparently,
really?
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he must
I
have
heard that
charges.
before.
He must have some charges.
Yeah, which
The
is
States.
look, ex-South
The
guy
states are
sucked
very,
in.
very strict.
Would you go back to Vegas if the Chooks weren't playing next year? Would you still go?
Yeah,
Like, was the
so-
experience that good?
Mate, it was that good. Honestly, I've already said next year I'll probably go. I don't think the Chooks will play next year, but
No.
regardless, I'm gonna book
I
flights this
honestly
year.
believe they should be there because you know what? They should retain if they win.
Yeah, there was a talk about that. The winner should retain. So
Yeah.
we won last year.
And
so
Manly.
us a Manly one.
For the Roosters fans, like, did you see their training videos in UCLA?
USA, yeah, that was-
So when I was staying in LA, it was about probably 5 minutes from where they were. But
Yeah,
mate,
nice.
the videos, seeing him train, it was so like
Gets
it
you
was
pumped
run
up.
well.
It was actually a bit interesting because, like last year, you look at what the Roosters done, you look at what Broncos done, Manly. I'm pretty sure South Sun as well. But everyone picked a base and sort of went out there. This year, it looks a bit different. I don't know if they've gotten stuff nearby that's doing all their training, but it seems like they've all just flown into Vegas this year. The 14.
I think last summer in
Sharks
LA.
are at LA.
Oh, Sharks are in
I
LA?
think they're at UCLA.
I think
LA.
okay,
Yeah.
because I know the Raiders have flown straight into Vegas. So
Raiders and Penrith and Warriors. I think Sharks are there.
I think Sharks are the only ones not in Vegas, which is interesting because Vegas doesn't have a lot of like playing fields that you could train on. So very interesting how they've done that. It seems a bit different from
It'll be
last
good.
year.
And quick predictions. Who do you think's
Yeah.
going to win? There's obviously we've got Penrith versus
Sharks?
Sharks.
Yep.
And
Warriors
then
and Canberra first, I think. Is that
who,
right?
who,
Yeah.
are you going to go with? Round one.
Well, after the rumor about the Canberra players, I reckon New Zealand will get up.
NZ. All
I
right.
reckon it's going to be a close one.
That game is it gives you weird vibes.
tough one,
even
man.
before the drama started. I think that,
James Fisher Harris first game for the Wars, leading them out,
Yeah.
captain.
I'm going to go Warriors. Theo.
I'm going to go with and Luke Metcalf to hit a field goal.
Oh yeah. Ooh, I like
Ben's
that.
So
going for his
Warriors.
parlays. He's going for his multis.
And I'm going for him in Supercoach, by the way. And also the other game, Penrith. I'm sorry, Phil, but I'm going to go for the Sharks. I think you guys will start slowing.
I'm
this
going to
game.
back the Sharkies as well.
Yeah, Fanua Blake.
I'm going to use a bit of methodology here, right? Last year, now there was interviews that came out about the clubs. So, two of the clubs let their players play up a little bit in Vegas and experience Vegas before the game. 2 clubs said you had to wait till after. Now, the 2 clubs that said you had to wait till after to play up were actually the winners. So that was the Roosters and Manly. So I'm going to go with the 2 clubs that have said you can play up after, which I think will be Cronulla and the Wars. We know the Raiders are already playing up there. I've heard rumours that Penrith are already playing up there. Like, nothing bad for Penrith, but just they're having their experience. So
I'm gonna say Penrith. I reckon Nathan Cleary is gonna show America.
Yeah, he's going to turn it on.
He's gonna show America what NIL is.
I wouldn't have a
I think
problem
he's
with
gonna have
that.
his best game yet.
Peter Delandis, he'll slip in a bit of coin. He'll say, turn it on for the States.
That's
mate,
it,
just
mate.
go next
They're a
level,
quality
go
side. They'll do well. They'll do well.
Nah, they'll do good. And a quick one before we wrap up. What do you think about Valandis trying to get Trump to the game? Obviously, last year he tried to get Biden.
I don't mind it. He's trying to build the game. Now, Canberra were talking about who's going to blow the horn over there.
Yeah.
Dana White, the
Dana
OC
White.
boss.
Yeah, when you've got someone of like Dana White's stature coming out and doing that, that's a big up for the game. So, look, Biden didn't go last year. I don't believe he went.
Nah.
Look, Trump probably won't go
I'm
this
going
year.
to tip not to.
It's a big stretch.
Yeah.
Can I throw a name? Sorry to butt in. I think Dana White. If Dana White is to come, he
I
needs
think
to
he
bring.
might.
He needs to bring the number one podcast guy, and that's Joe Rogan.
That'll be
To
huge.
talk about our game in his platform.
I wouldn't be surprised
Crazy.
to see Rogan there. Like those
It'd be
sort of
huge,
guys
yeah.
pull out for that sort of stuff. It's a big thing, but I understand why Volandis has done it. Like it's smart. If you want to build something, you are going to get the most influence you can. Let's be fair. Whether you like him or hate him, Trump is the most trending person right now because of everything going on. So whether you love him or hate him, he's the most impactful figure in the world right now.
And as Theo said, you bring those two names in, they're connected with Trump, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You
right.
never know.
You never know. And
boys.
if Trump's there, the media will follow, and then NRL gets attention. That's what Valandis wants.
That's what
at the
you
end of the
want.
day.
Yeah, no, 100%. And look, I can say this straight up because I've got some friends who are Americans and live over there. A couple of them didn't go to the game, but they actually watched it like at home. And most of the messages I got was genuinely, what the heck do you guys do to each other? Why do they deserve that? And I think there was one comment that was actually made. Lachlan Croker got busted open in the first game, got the old, the old school head wrap and kept going. And they said, if we done that in the NFL, we get charged with assault.
Yeah.
Like, our game is so tough that the Americans actually frothed it. Unless you don't like that stuff, and then if you don't like that stuff, well, that's your own problem.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's all we can agree on. At the end of the day, rugby league is probably the toughest and greatest game of all.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, that pretty much, I think that wraps it up.
And
guys.
I will give another big thank you to our sponsor, Steel Roofing Supply Centre. Thank you very much, guys, for putting the faith and belief in all four of us to do this podcast in your beautiful studio. If anyone is after roofing materials, please go and jump to their website, www.steelroofing.com.au.
Well said, mate. And yes, and before you guys go and we go, like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on socials. And head to our link tree in the bio on Instagram, and that's where you'll find ESPN tipping. Join Roosters Mania TV.
See if you can beat us in all the tipping.
We'll see. We just gave us your predictions. See if you can beat us. All right, guys.
From
Sweet.
here on
boys.
everyone, it's good night.
Have a great night, guys.